right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for offering us a little bit of grace in getting started a bit late. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Oregon Transportation Commission meeting for September 22nd. Happy autumn. And first, we'd like to go to the director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate the opportunity to share two pieces of information. The first is surrounding healthy driving and distracted driving. So with the passage of House Bill 2597, significant changes to the distracted driving or cell phone law will be engaged October 1st. This bill makes it illegal to drive while operating a mobile electronic device. It has some exceptions, but holding a mobile device in one's hand and using that device is now a violation. Now recall the Distracted Driving Task Force that was convened by your Oregon Department of Transportation, our partners at Oregon State Police and AAA, identified as a major root cause the limitations associated with the current cell phone law, as it was creating difficulties for law enforcement to cite and the courts to adjudicate. House Bill 2597 increases penalties to a Class B violation for the first offense, Class A violation for the second offense, or the first offense if it contributes to a crash, and a Class B misdemeanor or a $2,000 fine for the third offense within a 10-year window here. Now concurrently, on September 1st, we launched here at the department a first-of-its-kind campaign aimed at eliminating distracted driving, and it is called Drive Healthy. And it challenges people to compete against each other in a healthy way to see who Oregon's safest driver is. Businesses, classrooms, community groups, families. Any kind of organization can sign up, download the Lifesaver app, and if you just go to your app store where you get your apps, just type in Lifesaver distracted driving and it'll pop up. Then work to put the phone down while you're driving. It's open to anyone. We think it's a great opportunity, maybe an opportunity for the commission. I just throw that out there. But our goal is, at a minimum, to raise awareness of how important it is to keep your hands on the wheels and your mind on the roads. As I've said many times, distracted driving is now endemic. It is an epidemic here in the state of Oregon, if not across the nation, and we need to do something about it. We also hope that this effort will reduce many lane departure crashes we've been seeing lately, where drivers go off the road or into oncoming lanes with very serious consequences. So, we have a new way of doing business. It's gamifying some things here. We challenge each other to be the best driver you can be. So in the morning, you can get to work, to school, to recreation in a safe manner. But at the end of the day, you can come home safe and healthy to your family and friends. So we hope all folks take advantage of this. We think the benefit will accrue to everyone here. The second issue I want to speak to is the challenges that we have been faced with regard to Mother Nature and fire. Now, I'll spend probably the most time on the I-84 Eagle Creek fire. But as you know, it's been an extremely tough season for the state of Oregon, if not for the West, to be honest with you. And while firefighters are on the front lines of fighting the fires, ODOT crews are on the front lines of support, ensuring those firefighters can get to the fires, providing traffic control, removing debris, whether that's rocks, soil, or trees, from our highways and interstates. Madam Chair, what I'd like to do, and I've given you some pictures because the pictures are certainly worth 1,000 words here, but give you a quick walkthrough because there was a time, I believe, we had 26 fires burning just in the state of Oregon. But a quick walkthrough or tour of the fires that we have been engaged in, some have had significant impact to the transportation system. Let's start with the Chetco fire, or the Chetco Bar fire. And although it is the largest fire of almost 200,000 acres, there wasn't much direct impact to Highway 101 other than the heavy smoke that just infiltrated the communities down there. We moved to the North Umpqua, Crater Lake area, where there were a number of small fires that touched our system. The most significant impact was to Highway 138. It was closed for more than 3 weeks because of the debris on the highway that just continued to dump and fall onto the highway. And I think it was just this week that we opened that highway to two-way traffic. We moved to Central Oregon and the Sisters areas. This fire affected Highway 242, the McKenzie Highway. And given that, and just given Mother Nature as we move into the winter months, 242 will likely remain closed for the season. Santiam Junction area, again, number of fires that touched our system. One fire occurred right along our highway on Labor Day, and it closed that highway and then required flagging for a time. Let's now move to the big one, the Eagle Creek fire, about 48,000 acres to date. That's my understanding, and if you can trust the good folks on the radio, I think they said it was 48% contained. Certainly Mother Nature, the rains have helped. But it certainly, this fire certainly had the greatest impact on our state highway system. The fire required us to close Interstate 84 on Labor Day. We did open the westbound lanes to, on September 14th, but the eastbound lanes remain closed. All the I-84 bridges, that infrastructure, have been inspected, roughly about 70 different pieces of infrastructure there. Unfortunately, there was no major fire damage to any of them. Now, crews are continuing to clean up the debris on the interstate as we attempt to fully open that piece of roadway. But this week, a significant problem was discovered in the Shell Rock Mountain area. Now, Shell Rock is, to give you, it's probably in between Cascade Locks and Hood River, right about in the middle, milepost 50-something, if my memory serves me correct. What we have is very steep slopes, and we have partially burned out trees on those slopes that have continued to come down. You have a picture of one of the trees that came down and actually took out a retaining wall and a catchment fit on that eastbound lane of the interstate. Both our contractors, we had specialists that we hired, were on the job, and we brought in experts from the Bonneville Power Administration who made the determination that it was just unsafe to go up there, where they could not put their people in that harm's way to take those trees down. So it left us with somewhat of a dilemma with those trees literally perched up on top of the old historic highway and then down onto the interstate as well. So our plan is to mitigate this, to install a sort of temporary catchment at the base of the slope to catch anything that may come down, be it a tree, be it a rock, boulder. When we do reopen the eastbound traffic, which will likely keep one lane closed adjacent to that slope for safety reasons, to create that safety buffer. As we look at the scenario that's playing itself out, if the best case goes well, then we believe that we may be able to open one lane to the eastbound interstate this weekend. Now, in addition to the Columbia, the Columbia River Gorge multi-use path that we were making investments on in partnership with Western Forest Lands, that has been compromised, as well as the historic Columbia River Highway. I will tell you that that jewel has sustained significant damage. We haven't, since our attention has been on the interstate, we really haven't fully assessed the extent of the damage and have not projected an opening date on that historic highway. I can't overstate how significant the damage is. And so, again, as I said, while the recent rains have certainly helped our firefighters gain ground on these fires, it's created another issue. This may be a gift that keeps on giving, to the extent that as the winter months come in, the rains fall, a slide-prone area that will only be exacerbated by Mother Nature here. So we know what's coming at us. We've had our geotechnical professionals up there identifying where we think the greatest exposure and risk is in terms of the burned out areas, those areas that are slide prone, and unfortunately when you overlay the two, they seem to match up pretty well. Damage cost, we've done some very preliminary engineering in terms of what it has cost us to engage our people, our equipment in the firefighting effort. We provided this to the Federal Highway Administration because we will seek emergency relief funding from them. Our total right now, and please believe me, this is preliminary, so no one burn this into their brain, but we're somewhere between $4 and $6 million. And that's just on people and equipment. That's not infrastructure. We collect those. We do appreciate the Federal Highway Administration actually issuing $1 million check for quick release financial implications of the fire. So as the months or the weeks and the months continue to play themselves out, we will continue to assess the fires that have hit us both in the Region 1, 2, 3, and 4 area. So more to come, Madam Chair, but that's where we stand today. With that, I will stand down.
Please.
Matt, I'm just curious about the traffic flow when I-84 was closed and now with the eastbound fully closed and now with the eastbound closed. Can we characterize how the traffic that needs to get through there is flowing? Where I mean, I assume a lot of it's going over to Washington.
Yeah. No, it's a good question, Commissioner. A couple things going on here. If you're in a vehicle, you're taking SR 14, but eastbound lanes on SR 14 are closed to trucks, much like our eastbound. Their westbound lanes are open, so they're mirroring